Welcome back to News 15. Today, well, we sure are seeing once-in-a-lifetime type of event this morning with this crazy cold weather. So to give it some context, we're bringing on Mr. Ed Roy. He was a meteorologist here in KADN for 35 years. Mr. Roy, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Well, fine, and thanks, Emma, but it's Ed, please.
Well, hey, so like I mentioned, you were covering a pretty bad storm or a weather event in 1989 where apparently the marshes froze over. What can you tell us and put it in context what we're seeing this morning?
You know what? This is a major event. We have had other major events similar to this. For example, in 1989, Lafayette approached, I think, its record all-time low, which is, by the way, 7 degrees above freezing on the Fahrenheit scale. But in 1989, we had temperatures that ranged, I think, down, if I recall properly, down to about the 10-degree mark or so. It was very, very cold. In fact, I was out duck hunting in that like
Oh,
a
wow.
fool. And, yeah, and the marshes were frozen. And that was an amazing sight to see. But nothing to compare to 1899 when we had the Great Arctic Outbreak. And some interesting things from there, just as a comparison for what we're seeing now. That's when we had the rivers froze. For example, the Bayou Teche froze, and there were reports of icebergs in the Bayou Teche as big as wagons.
Oh,
And
wow.
the Mississippi River froze, and there were icebergs in Mississippi that went down past Edgard and New Orleans and didn't even unfreeze until they got out into the Gulf of Mexico. But in 1899, we had a record low temperature for the United States of 59 degrees below zero, and that was up in Minneapolis. Some cold temperatures before, but this is certainly impressive, I can tell you.
So what are the unique challenges for someone like an Adam Olivier who is tracking a cold weather event? He's from Louisiana, grew up here. What is the unique challenges of tracking that down here in the Deep South?
Well, I think Adam does a great job. I've watched you guys a lot. And I think the biggest challenge this morning is going to be to quantify how much rain we're going to get. Anything below a half inch of rain, which will obviously freeze since our temperature currently at Paul Fournette Field is down to 25 degrees. Anything below a half inch of precipitation, I think we're going to be on the okay side. But once you start getting over a half inch, then you start getting problems with tree limb breakage. And I'm going to tell you, back in 1899, I've had some work crew people that said the devastation from that ice storm was much the same in a major hurricane.
Wow.
Those tree branches just can't take the load of the ice. So Adam's big challenge this morning, I think, is going to be to quantify the precipitation, how much rain or sleet or freezing rain we're going to get. It would be better if we had sleet, because that's already frozen when it falls and it's not going to stick anything but the ground. Or two, if we had snow and it's not cold enough, deep enough in the atmosphere for snow this morning. So quantifying how much we have, and I'm monitoring the radar. I don't know if you can see the screen behind me, but Lake Charles Doppler is back online, which is a good thing for us, and we can sort of see that we have some moderate showers moving into the area now. So that's going to be the big issue this morning.
Well, I love to see that you're still hard at work, even at home, and all these years later. We appreciate you joining us, Mr. Roy, and you're always welcome to come back on and maybe give us some context. Maybe when Adam's not running around every which way, he'll talk to you next time.
I'd love to. Thanks a lot, and stay warm.
All right. Well, from one meteorologist to another, we're tracking with Storm Track 50 meteorologist Adam Olivier after this break.